Hello, hello. Welcome to your Indigo Path 2. Thank you so much for joining me. Although I'll be live, I will not be answering any questions until after the presentation. So, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Cindy. I am the modern day spiritual advisor. I use multiple modalities to help you on your path, and now the author of my upcoming book series, Concepts for Create Reality. Thank you again for joining us. So, today we're going to talk about indigos. Indigos are such a wide known thing, but they're still sort of misunderstood. So I have 5 ways or 5 signs to know you're an indigo. So, are you an indigo person? When I see indigos, I see this color. I am an indigo, by the way. Um, so, let's talk about what is an indigo. So, in the late 1960s, a woman by the name of Nancy Ann Tabb had synesthesia. And she began to see children with the color indigo. So, what is synesthesia? Well, to put it simply, it's when your brain's senses are cross-wired. So, you may retrieve information from more than one sense. Um, you may interpret the information with another sense. So, synesthesia is a natural neurobiological process where two or more senses are cross-wired in the brain, creating an often dizzy array of sensory perceptions. Synesthesia is not a brain disorder, nor is it an abnormal disease. It has a tendency to run in families, thus scientists believe it is genetic in origin. Today, scientists in 15 countries around the world are in a race to find the gene which causes this unusual condition. So I will say that this soul group, there are a lot of people who have synesthesia. While some synesthetics use their perceptions for creativity, most do not utilize them at all, and some synesthetics are not even aware that their sensations differ from everyone else's. Experts today believe that 1 in 20 people have some form of synesthesia. So for Nancy Ann Tabb, she was able to see people's energetic field or auras. She was able to retrieve information from the energetic field using other senses. So again, in the late 1960s, early 70s, but I say it was mid 70s, she was seeing these children with the color indigo. She also began to take note at their particular characteristics or personality. These children are known as the indigo children, but these children are no longer children. We are now adults and now can speak for ourselves to help you understand more about us. I won't go into all of that today. I do talk a lot about that in my book. What I will talk about are the 5 signs to know you're an indigo. So, does this look familiar to you? So, hello, everyone. For those of you that are on my original YouTube channel, thank you, Melissa. You've probably already seen this, but we're going to do it on this channel. So, 5 signs you are an indigo. Indigos have a warrior type personality. Do you fight no matter what? Is everything a fight to you? Are you disgusted by dogma and old ways or old systems? Do you now and have always challenged authority? If so, you might be an indigo. So indigos are made this way on purpose. We have to go into, what some people would call the depths of hell, and go into old systems. And for that, we need that warrior personality. We're not going to take no for an answer. We know when something needs to be changed. We may not know the exact change of it, but we know it needs to be changed. And so for that reason, we will challenge authority. We will challenge dogma. And if we challenge it, they have to tell us why it exists and why it needs to continue to exist, right? And by the way, if any of these pictures look familiar to you, they might not be the exact thing, but they may look a little familiar. So sign number 2, you're an indigo. Are you highly intuitive? Are you highly psychic? All your life since birth, you've always known when something was going to happen, whether through your dreams or just a knowing. If you had this, then you might be an indigo. Indigos are so much more psychic, intuitive than empathic. They are empathic, they just use their psychic, their third eye chakra more. So they're really intelligent in that way, where they will use the intellect. So, sign number 3, are you highly intelligent? I don't mean just book smart. No, I mean, do you grasp concepts easily? Do you have a need for researching and understanding a concept, like a thirst that won't go away until you quench it? So, this is the thing about indigos. They will try to learn the concepts, and they cannot rest until it's learned for them. And once you've grasped the concept, do you see where and how this concept needs to change and updates? If so, you might be an indigo. This is the reason we came. We came so that we could see the concepts. We came so that we could fight the dogma, fight the old systems, help implement new systems. Not implement them ourselves, but help implement new systems. Now, I go into more detail about indigos in my book, but these are 5 major signs. They have other characteristics. Does this look familiar to you? Sign number 4. Do you abhor lies and injustice? I mean, do you get really angry or uncomfortable when someone is lying, when you can plainly see and feel the truth? Do you get very angry when there is injustice? Sorry, I'm drinking my coffee. So much so, it makes you physically and emotionally ill until there is justice, whether you make that justice happen or someone else does. If this is you, then you might be an indigo. Indigos abhor lies, and they always, they have this innate understanding of when someone is lying to them. They just know it. They know when there's a lie around. Like, if there's someone around and they're lying, they just know it. And they can become they will fight. They'll fight you to get the truth. And they will, because to them it's like injustice. So indigos have to learn to tame that down, because as we get older, we understand that, truth is a matter of perception sometimes. So we have to be more like the space holder and the crystal child, or the crystal adult. Which, by the way, they're still children coming in, but they're mostly adults now. So what are you here to do? Well, you're here to do a lot of things. We have more than one purpose, but we have a primary purpose, and I'll explain that in a little while. So, sign number 5, you're an indigo. Do you always have a need to keep moving, going from one idea to the next? Maybe have even moved from one job or career to the next. Might have even been labeled ADD or ADHD. If this is so, then you might be an indigo. Indigos, again, have this warrior type personality, and we're here to do something, and it's like a thirst. Like, it bothers us until we get it done. And so for that reason, and we're highly intelligent. We can go from concept to concept to concept. So back in the day, they were labeling ADD, ADHD. That's the label that they put, but in some ways that may be correct, I guess, because our brains move fast, but we can focus. So I'm not sure that was a correct label. So in the beginning, with Nancy and Tapp, I got that from her website. I got these 4 types of indigo people. What she did throughout her career were, because she became the authority in indigo people. She had scientists, and she worked with a lot of people, and they found that there were 4 types of indigos. So there are 4 types of indigos, and although I won't go into detail about them, I will give you a synopsis of the 4. Again, I go more into detail about them in my book. So the first is the humanist. The humanists are here to globalize humanity through technology and communication. They will bring new insights into human relationships and humanity. So that's the humanist. And please know that as an indigo, um, you may be more than one of these, than one of these types. Also, um, indigo means that um, the way that I see it, because I have synesthesia. So the way that I see it is I see your indigo core self, so your indigo aura, um, and which means that you can step into and out of any of these four types. But you'll know. So this may seem familiar to some of you indigos. This isn't the exact thing, but this may be close to what we're looking at. As you can see, there's a lot of indigo now in this universe. So type number 2 is the artist. Artists bring in art forms in all area, not just the fine arts. They are already they are already beginning to create the classics of the future. Indigos also, you'll notice they have these beautiful round almond eyes. Um, that's, but I don't want to say that that's a true characteristic, because I've seen indigos that didn't have those eyes. So just because you don't have those eyes doesn't mean that you're not an indigo. You'll know because of who you are. So type 3 of an indigo is the conceptualist. The conceptualists are project people. Their task is to introduce new concepts in technology, design, and mechanics processes. They may become engineers, architects, computer programmers, or designers. They are geniuses with technology. That's the conceptualist. Type 4 is the catalyst. The catalyst will bring in new paradigms, new philosophies, and new religions. They envision the future and advocate tirelessly for global causes and philanthropic endeavors. So this catalyst, the way the description is, again, I got this from Nancy Ann Tapp's website. I disagree with the new religions. I don't think that, I think that indigos understand that religion is going to go away, or needed to. It was needed for the time. It's not needed in our future. It's wanted, sure. And I'm not saying that religion is a bad thing, because it's not. It's just we're going to grow from that to a bigger understanding that it's not just one particular area. That's a hard topic to talk about, because nobody now wants to offend anyone. But as an indigo, that's what we do. We can offend people, but it's not intentional. It's just how we see things. So again, you can step into any of these four types. As you can see, the world has a lot of indigo now. We have crystals, we have space holders, we have rainbow children, and again, I talk about all that in my book. So please be sure to subscribe, like, and share for consultations, for any of my services. Actually, just for consultations, you can go to yourindigopath2@gmail. So I want to thank everyone for coming in. I will, for those of you that are replaying, you may want to stop it now, because I'm going to talk to everyone and see the discussion, and we're going to do a discussion. You're welcome to listen, but for those of you that just wanted the information, I'll be just doing the discussion now. So, hi everyone, how are you? Yep, liars can't stand them. Yeah, so I got to read everything here. Hello, 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 hello everyone. Thank you so much for coming in. This sounds a lot better on this one. Oh, okay. Well, maybe I needed to get closer to the mic. Again, I'm using the professional, I always use IK professional mics, but this one is the standalone mic. And you have to learn where to talk on it. Like, you can't talk too close or too far. So, yes, I remember this from the other day. Great refresher, though. Thank you for coming in, guys. I loathe lies and liars. Yep, liars can't stand them. Yep. Just like they label crystals autistic. Yeah. Exactly. Thought I just got bored easily. No, it's because your brain thinks so fast. Because you're here to see concepts. So, it seems like most indigos are Geminis. Mm, no, but they make them, well, maybe so, because they make themselves Gemini for a reason, but not. There's a lot of indigos that are all signs. They're all signs. That's just another layer. So Bill Gates, yep, yep, Bill Gates. I like I said before, the one that I know is going to irritate people, but if you think about who he is and his characteristic, is Donald Trump, is President Trump. So yeah, President Trump is really an indigo. He's ruffled a lot of feathers. He makes people upset, but he's making people think, right? He's challenging people. So that's what indigos do. That's kind of what we do. So I'm hoping this is gonna stay. Here we go. Yeah, that's why you shouldn't look at the sign. Don't look at the sun sign for indigos, because they can be any sign. It depends on which way they're going to express their indigo self. So if they needed to express it as a more emotional leader, then they will do so. If they need to express it as more of a mental leader, then they will do so. I'm a Cancer with Gemini moon. I'm definitely an indigo. Yep. Yeah, see, Melissa's a Cancer, so she's got water. I must have some indigo in me. So, yeah, so the reason that it took me so long to talk about indigo, space holders, crystals, and rainbows is because I don't really like people defining themselves. I think when you do that, you put yourself in a box. This is why the reason I'm talking about it now is because I'm coming out with a book where I help you understand that it's just a layer. And what you really need to, well, what you'll really come to terms with is that you're a powerful being and can step into all of it. You've been all of it. So a lot of these things explain my daughter I asked about. Yeah, it would. Indigo children are like, oh, good Lord. I was an indigo child. This is making so much sense to me. I've had a lot of problems with some older folks. Yeah, I was raised, you're not supposed to challenge elders even when they are wrong. Yeah, yeah, I know a lot of people were raised that way. It's so funny because my mother was different. My mother taught us to taught us to stand for our truths and what we believed in. Didn't matter if it was an adult or a child that we were speaking with. And I'm from Texas, so that was a big thing to do, because you don't do that. But I did. Our whole family did. My brothers and sisters also. That's the way our parents raised us. You stand for you. You stand, if you know you're right and you have something to say, then you say it. Now, and that's just kind of how we were raised. So I did that on purpose. Yeah, seen, not heard. Yeah. Yeah, I even challenged my mother and father a couple of times. Sure did. Yeah, so a lot of space holders will say that. I feel a little connected. I feel like I'm indigo and I feel like I'm crystal. That's usually a space holder sign. So I'm not sure if I'm a space holder or indigo or both. I have lots of both traits. Yeah. So again, these are just 5 signs. These are like the most prominent signs for indigo and space holder and crystal and rainbow that I'm going to tell you guys. I go into depth in my book. So, yeah. Yeah, exactly. I raised my daughter that same way. Speak your truth. Seen and not heard as a child. I'm making up for lost time. I can see that, Maria. So if no one has any questions about 5 signs you're an indigo, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. I'm finishing up we're going to do crystals this afternoon, so never fear, Steve is here. Hello, Stephen. So we're about to end this, Stephen. I know it takes some time when you're doing live for that for everybody to get their notice, but um, me too, Rhea. The rebels, right? Exactly. Maria, he's talking to you or Melissa. Mm-mm-mm. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna let you guys go. I have a couple clients today, and I'm still preparing the crystal one for the other channel. So, yes, me three. I've been a rebel all my life. Yeah, that would really, really not be good as an indigo. That must really. I'm sorry to say this, but that must really suck to have like not been able to say your truth and stand up for yourself. But this is the thing. Indigos did go through a lot of like challenges like that as a child. Um, that's a trait I didn't put in there, but I talk about it in my book. Indigos had traumatic childhoods, traumatic childhoods. So, but so did space holders. So space holders had more of emotional trauma, and indigos had more physical and emotional trauma. So that's kind of a difference between them. Yeah, I had to get out at age 18. Yeah, yeah, it's funny. Yeah, yeah. Space holders usually have. I've found space holders have more emotional childhood trauma and not physical. So yeah, yeah. So anyway, thank you so much for coming in today, guys. Thank you for supporting me. This channel is going to get up and going, and before you know it, we're going to be on here, and there's going to be thousands of people when we do this. So I love you, love you, love you. I will talk to you guys soon. Yeah, yeah. I know a lot of you did. So I will be on this afternoon on the other channel, and we're going to talk about crystals. So yeah, love you, love you, love you. Bye.